Now, the Fox Illinois Sports Desk.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us for this special broadcast of Fox Illinois Sports. I'm Carson Gordy. And tonight, I'll bring you the sports stories from college and high school, plus a few stories you don't want to miss. But first tonight, the Illinois Fighting Illini basketball team was playing. Our Sammy St. Jean was in Indy to cover that Big Ten tournament, and he's got us covered with the highlights and post-game reaction. Sammy?
Yes, Carson, we're back here in Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament quarterfinals. Illinois entering the day off a very impressive offensive performance against Iowa last night. Not their best defensive performance, though, and they had to take on Maryland tonight, the number 2 seed and the number 11 team in the entire country. And the Terps, they gave Illinois quite a bit of trouble in the regular season, a 21-point loss in that game. And tonight, it would be more of the same. Maryland would start the game red hot and would also set the tempo on the offensive glass. Illinois allowed 9 offensive boards, including 4 to Derek Queen. He'd have a double-double, but the real problem was Rodney Rice. 5 3-balls from him in the first half, 26 points on the night. Illinois, they would get some life and a double-double from Yaku Chonis, who struggled against Iowa. Boswell would show some flashes, but turnovers, 17 of them, would be killer for Illinois as their Big Ten tournament campaign comes to an end. Their second loss to the Terps this year. Final score in this one, 88-65. Now after the game, Tomislav Ivasic talks about what they can take from this loss and learn from their experience in this one-and-done tournament as they enter the big dance.
It's like a cold shower where you just lost opportunity to win another trophy, and we know that next time this happens, season's over, and we just gotta learn from that. Gotta go into the game ready, like it's you're in or you're out. Like that.
This Illinois game tonight brought back memories of about a month and a half ago, when Illinois just couldn't find any consistent rhythm. For Ben Hummerkaus, tonight was disappointing and not the kind of performance he'd want or expect should they meet a team like Maryland again.
Yeah, I would say that maybe that definitely not the team that we've shown up to be more recently, and yeah, it's frustrating. I would say maybe a mix of both. I think that's a team that that's not how that should look. We didn't show up play ready today, and I think that looks different to play against.
For Illinois, that will end their time here in Indianapolis in the quarterfinals, and all eyes for them will now turn to the big dance in the NCAA tournament. Illinois, after their recent 4-game win streak, has found themselves along that 6-7 seed line, so we'll have to wait and see what comes on Selection Sunday for the Illini. But for me here in Indianapolis, that's it. I'll send it back to you, Carson, in the studio.
Thank you, Sammy. Tough game, but looking at the rest of the Big Ten tournament with Illinois out of the picture, Michigan State will be facing the Wisconsin Badgers tomorrow in that semifinal. Tom Izzo looking to win a record 7th Big Ten tournament championship and secure that coveted 2 seed during the NCAA tournament. And the Wisconsin Badgers, who Illinois split the season series with, are coming in hot after drilling 19 3-pointers and a decisive win over UCLA. And in the bottom of the bracket, Maryland's going to advance after beating Illinois. Brad Underwood drops to 3-9 all-time against the Terrapins. A surprising nugget since Illinois has been one of the best Big Ten programs over the last 5 years. But Illinois, they can't beat them. And also in the bottom of the bracket, it looks like rival Purdue is struggling against the Michigan Wolverines. It looks like Michigan at this time is on track to advance to the next round. And just like Illinois, all these teams will be playing in the NCAA tournament. And with Illinois knocked out of the Big Ten tournament, they're still going to play in the NCAA tournament. And on Selection Sunday, they will be given their seed and opponent. And after an inconsistent year that's had plenty of highs and lows. Illinois, if you want to look at it, some are projecting a 6 seed, some are projecting a 7 seed, while CBS currently has them as an 8 seed, so that's a pretty big range. They could be facing either 9 seeds, 10 seeds, or 11 seeds. Here are some of these opening round opponents that could be a little bit tricky. West Virginia, one of the top defenses in America, has 2 former Illinois players on the roster, Monty Hansberry and Sincere Harris. And also another one is Tennessee Drake. The small school in Iowa is 29-3, and one of those teams that nobody wants to play in March. And while Illinois lost today, they are starting to get a little bit healthy. The team getting more confident as of yesterday. Brad Underwood, he had big preseason goals of a deep NCAA tournament run. Me and Trey White talked about those goals, such as a Final Four.
Talks about preseason Final Four, San Antonio.
For
he
sure.
has a lot of confidence. Is he still talking like that?
Man,
like,
what? He's been talking like that since the summer, through the ups, through the downs, through the losing streak, through the win streaks. That's Coach Brad, for sure. And it just lights a fire onto this.
Do you like that as a player?
I love that. Whenever you have a coach like that who's on you good or bad, it's out of love.
In Illinois, they're going to be counting on 2 freshman stars who are likely going to play in the NBA next season. Kasper Jakic, a projected top 10 pick. The European was second-team All-Big Ten and one of the best passers in America. And Canadian Will Riley, he's overcome early season struggles. After starting this season coming off the bench, Riley has earned that spot in the starting lineup. And over the last 12 games, he's averaging 16 points. His ability to attack the rim and drain three-point shots has cemented his status as a top 20 pick in the NBA draft. Brad Underwood said it was just a matter of time for things to click for Will Riley.
I think it's just growth. I think it's the natural maturation with freshmen that play, and then he got a little confidence, and now he's just blossomed. He's as confident as any player I've seen. He's a focal point of what we do. He's a focal point of what opponents are trying to stop.
In the Illinois women's basketball regular season, it's been over for around a week, but don't worry, we didn't forget about them. On Sunday, they will hear their name called for Selection Sunday and will be playing in the NCAA tournament. An incredible turnaround for a program that's been struggling for decades. And this season, it looked like the year was at crossroads. Losing multiple starters to season-ending injuries, but overcoming the odds with fantastic play from veterans. Head coach Shauna Green is going to be leading her squad to the second tourney in 3 years. Before that, Illinois hadn't made it since 2003. And looking at the resume for the women's team, they sit at 21-9 and have strong wins over teams like Florida State and Maryland. Illinois' season was highlighted by that 8-game winning streak, but they did come back down to earth recently, losing 4 consecutive games to end the year. Right now, they're projected 8th seed in the NCAA tournament, according to ESPN, and would face a team like 9th seed Richmond. But that does mean that Illinois would have to play a 1 seed right away, probably Texas. So it's going to be tough if Illinois is trying to book its first trip to the Sweet 16 in 2 decades.
But I think that the story of this team, I think it's they're easy to like, right? Like people can relate to when, your back's against the wall and you just keep fighting and you keep working. And
believe it or not, the football season's already upon us. Illinois football looking to validate themselves on the national stage. We have what the players and the head coach Brett Bielema has to say about it. And it's time to test your sports knowledge from 1988 to 1992. Illinois beat this Big Ten squad 5 consecutive years, and their prized possession was a wooden turtle. What is the name of that rival school? Go to the Fox Illinois Facebook page. Take a guess.
Now, the Fox Illinois Sports Desk.
For years, Illinois was always considered the basketball school. But last season, the Illinois football team shattered expectations, a 10-win campaign, and a Citrus Bowl victory over South Carolina. And now the national media is starting to hype up Illinois. With spring practice kicking off, the 2025 season's already here. And the team tells us, media, they're ready to elevate the program. It's a challenge Illinois has been craving for decades. Producing a great year when it's expected.
We'd be lying if we didn't ask for it or didn't want it. This is a position that we wanted to be in, to be able to be talked about, to be able to have expectations upon us. It comes with a lot of pressure, but man, pressure's a privilege.
Have you heard of the Illinois back-to-back curse? Since the 1990s, each of Illinois' breakout campaigns were followed up by losing seasons. From Rose Bowls, Sugar Bowls, and Florida Bowls to 5-7 campaigns. Gabe Yakis remembers that disappointment of 2023.
And a lot of people were kind of cocky, I guess, in that 23 season because we just came off a bowl game. We had an 8-win season.
Illinois thinks they got a good team. 18 returning starters. Luke Altmaier and Gabe Yakis deciding not to transfer. Xavier Scott and J.C. Davis holding off those NFL dreams. The result, Illinois will be preseason ranked for the first time since 2008.
Illinois, we got to carry a chip on the right shoulder and the left shoulder. We never erase that mentality. Like our biggest challenge and our biggest opponent to next year is Illinois. Right?
And those Vegas bookies or odd makers, they've said their piece about Illinois and what they think for next year. The over-under for Illinois win total will be placed at 7.5. That may not sound like a lot, but it's the highest for Illinois in decades. And out of all teams in the Big Ten, that's the 6th highest in the conference, behind schools like Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon. The season kicks off in August, but we will continue to provide the coverage of Illinois throughout spring practice. And while Illinois is focused on this season, they're also doing their best to send former players to the NFL. Thursday was Illinois' Pro Day. Guys like Seth Coleman, T-Rod Edwards, and Pat Bryant able to work out in front of NFL scouts. The only player this year expected to be drafted, though, is Pat Bryant, leading Illinois in receiving yards and touchdowns. But that's because several NFL prospects decided to return to Illinois for one more year to develop. Current linebacker Gabe Yakis said he talked to former players like Johnny Newton, and they told him that an extra year with Brett Bielema couldn't hurt. Yakis is arguably Illinois' best player.
Obviously, like dudes in the league that play here, like Johnny, Keith, dude, Casey, Isaiah, like all those dudes that's in the league, like just talking to them, just having their perspective, and they all said like whatever you do is a good decision, but like there's nothing wrong coming back,
And Illinois is starting to gain momentum on the high school recruiting grounds. After a surprising 10-win campaign, Illinois currently has the 6th best recruiting class in America, 7th, headlined by securing commitments from 4 stars in Ohio, Cam Thompson and Victor Singleton. And now they're trying to win over J.C. Anderson of Mount Zion and also Max Suter of Dunlap. Both players are 4-star tight ends who are visiting campus in April. There's also another top prospect I was able to Zoom recently, quarterback Trey Taylor, who also has offers from Georgia and Notre Dame, but he likes his in-state school.
Coach, hometown state, first of all, can't really beat that. They're literally 2.5 hours away from me. But Coach B, very good coach. I got to sit down with him many times in his office.
We had a couple Central Illinois basketball teams that got to participate on the sport's biggest stage this weekend. We got the highlights and the impact that it has on the community. We'll be right back. But first, I'm going to test your knowledge from 1988 to 1992. Illinois beat this team 5 straight years, and the big prize was a wooden turtle. I'm also a huge junkie for rivalry trophies. This one isn't my favorite rivalry trophy. I like the Land of Lincoln against Northwestern or the Purdue Cannon, but this turtle is a pretty big deal. We'll take a break, put your guess on Facebook, and we'll be right back.
Now, the Fox Illinois Sports Desk.
A state tournament that takes 3 weeks to complete and involves practically every school in the state of Illinois. The boys basketball playoffs has been a treat with last-second victories and Cinderella stories. But now we're in the state finals, and the favorites are looking to break Cinderella's glass slipper. And on Friday, we were treated to some third-place matchups at the State Farm Center.
Glenwood trying to win third place over St. Patrick on Friday, but the Shamrocks found some luck in the corner, hitting multiple downtown shots and building up that first half lead. The Titans doing their best to claw back, but the Shamrocks shaking it up and cementing a victory with the dunk. Glenwood fans quiet after a tough victory and emotions from the players' last game. But Glenwood still held their heads high after a historic season.
And will Coach Bailey.
St. Anthony looking to hold off Peoria Christian, who was flying down the court before pulling it from deep. Bulldogs playing tight defense, but an acrobatic play and a bounce pass extends Peoria Christian's lead. But then the Bulldogs started barking, clawing their way back and navigating traffic in the post. St. Anthony's crowd getting excited, but the Bulldog rally, it would fall short. Still, a Final Four is something to celebrate.
Number 43, Freddie Jansen. Number 45.
For many programs, getting to the state finals in Champaign, that's a big accomplishment. Even great programs can sometimes go through decades of drought, so when they do make it, fans of the school often flock over and watch that premier event. And the local economy, they're happy to take their money.
Glenwood made its first state finals appearance in school history, and St. Anthony made their first one since 2017.
We always wanted to get there, but now, 18, 19 years later, here we are, and we're going to Champaign to play, so pretty special time.
16 schools and fan bases are in Champaign for multiple days amid a championship chase. And the local economy will gladly take the visitors' money. from hotels to gas to eating out at restaurants.
Over the course of the 3 days, and so it ends up presenting about a $4 to $5 million economic impact for the area.
Mary Ann's is a well-known establishment in Champaign, open 24 hours a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. With Illinois students off for spring break, they're happy to supplement their income with high school fan bases and see a packed house. When the state finals used to be held in different cities, that meant less money for Champaign and a shakeup that Mary Ann's would like to avoid.
Our new contract is 2025 through 29, and so we hope to keep it here beyond 2029 as well.
Playing on the same court as Dee Brown, Kofi Coburn, and Deion Thomas is special.
The guys kept talking State Farm Center. They were all jacked up to have the opportunity to be there, playing on the same court as some absolute legends and heroes in their minds.
And unfortunately, every single Central Illinois basketball team is out, but the state championships are still on for Saturday. And also, the Illinois Wheelchair Basketball Championship is being held at the Orc Recreation Center in Champaign tomorrow. And coming up in sports, we're saying goodbye to basketball and wrestling, but don't worry, we got plenty of additional activities and a preview of what Fox Illinois is going to cover in the days ahead. And it's time once again to test your sports knowledge from 1988 to 1992. Illinois football beat this Big Ten squad 5 years in a row. Their prize was a possession of the coveted wooden turtle. And I'll give you a hint, this is a pretty good Big Ten program. Kind of shows how good Illinois was back in the day. Go to Fox Illinois Facebook page and take your best guess.
Now, the Fox Illinois Sports Desk.
No more basketball, no more wrestling, but our Fox Illinois team is fortunate that we still have plenty of high school and college sports to cover. In the fall, it's the boys who play soccer, but in springtime, it's time for the girls to shine. Some top teams in our viewing area last year was Williamsville and Sacred Heart Griffin, and once again, we're excited to cover them. And heading over to the Diamond for softball and baseball, they're having their opening day pretty soon next week, but practice has already been going on for a couple weeks. We're excited to follow stars like Cameron Appenzeller from Glenwood. He's going to go to the University of Tennessee to pitch, and also Ike Young, the Monticello product who committed to Illinois. Now we're going to be covering also Illinois college baseball. Last year, they won the Big Ten championship and have one of the best programs over the last decade. And today they're playing Valparaiso. Valparaiso making it a little uncomfortable, only down 11-9, and a nice single drives them into third. But they can't cash in. A lifeless pop out to third base, and Illinois gets out to the bottom of the inning. Illinois rips it down the corner, able to get all the way down to second base. That drove in 2 runs, and Illinois was able to walk away with a 13-9 victory. Illinois is now a couple games over 500, and they have not exactly lived up to the expectation after winning the Big Ten, but they still have one of the best offenses in the conference. Again, it's time to test your knowledge from 1988 to 1992. Illinois beat this Big Ten squad 5 straight seasons, and they got to hold on to a wooden turtle. And I'll give you a little bit of a fun nugget. It actually used to be a live turtle that they used to have to take care of, but unfortunately the turtle did pass away, so they made it wooden. Go to Fox Illinois Facebook page and take your best guess. We'll be right back.
Now, the Fox Illinois Sports Desk.
The baseball card industry has dominated the sports artifact market for years. Everybody knows about that Honus Wagner baseball card, or that famous 1952 Mickey Mantle card that could still sell for over millions of dollars, if in good condition. But since an increase in popularity of sports artifacts since the COVID-19 pandemic, it's not just baseball cards that are gaining value. You can pretty much collect anything.
Do you remember that great Chicago Cubs World Series in 2008? Of course not. It never happened.
Like, this was issued to a season ticket holder.
But you can buy those Phantom World Series tickets valued at $80. Or a George Costanza or Jackie Mood trading card. Or season tickets dating back to 1910.
A little before you were born.
season pass. They could go to every game if they just remembered to bring that with them.
His name is Adam Murray, a card collector. He just bought a box for $15, stuffed with hundreds of baseball cards. He's hoping the seller accidentally left a valuable card in there.
Not the one I'm looking for.
It's a good card. That's Roger Clemens. What's wrong with it?
Looking for his rookie.
If an item's quantity is too high, good luck. But I also learned how vital condition is. Professionals will grade your sports items from 1 to 10. And the most minor issues can dock you several points and thousands of dollars in value.
Grade them, so this is a 3 out of 10.
It looks pretty good to me, though.
Yeah, they grade them very strictly. There's a small crease right here on the top where it tore a little bit.
But rules can be broken. This 1950s Mickey Mantle card is still worth hundreds of bucks, despite poor condition because it's rare. Or an average baseball player whose card is worth hundreds of dollars because it's in great condition.
I mean, generally, I price my 9s at like $100.
No, I got one that's worse than that. Got holes in it.
It's a passionate market where prices can be subjective and vendors falling in love with history.
I started collecting a little over a year ago, and a friend got me involved in it. And I just like it because it's like a snapshot in time, kind of keeps that nostalgia alive.
And I hate to say, that story kind of makes you a little bit sad that I didn't take care of my baseball cards, those tickets, those bobbleheads growing up. But I guess I got pretty good advice from my kid when he grows up. And now it's time to test your sports knowledge from 1988 to 1992. Illinois football was dominating and beat this team 5 straight years in the Big Ten. And their possession was a wooden turtle. Back in the 1920s, that thing actually used to be alive, but unfortunately it passed away. I'm just going to give you a hint. This is a really, really, really good Big Ten program that people would probably be surprised that Illinois used to beat them. Go to our Fox Illinois Facebook page and take your best guess.
Now, the Fox Illinois Sports Desk.
I know you guys have been dying for this answer. From 1988 to 1992, Illinois beat this Big Ten program 5 consecutive years, and they got to possess a wooden turtle. What school did they play? Answer, please. Ohio State. Yes, Ohio State, the 7-time national champions. They haven't lost to Illinois since 2007. Back in the day, John Cooper couldn't beat Illinois. That was kind of John Makovich's rivalry to run. Illinois would love to get back to that. Beating Ohio State 5 straight years would be pretty darn impressive. Well, thank you everybody for watching on this Saturday. Or Friday, I'll be covering the IHSA Wheelchair Basketball Championships on Saturday, and also archery and, of course, Illinois basketball, and also project where the men and women's team will land for the NCAA tournament. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to watch more videos from Fox Illinois.